Welcome back to Open Window Politics. Today we're going to be doing a prediction between one of the congresswomen from New York, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, on the Democratic side, of course, versus the most likely Republican frontrunner for the 2028 Republican nomination, J.D. Vance, the current Vice President of the United States. So these two candidates have been floated as some of the more likely options to end up winning their respective parties' primaries. I do think Vance is far more likely to win the primary as a Republican than AOC is to win as a Democrat. Right now it's looking like Newsom will probably be the Democratic nominee. Still got quite a while before the election though, so things could change. But still going to be fun to do a prediction between AOC and J.D. Vance. So we're going to start out in Nevada. I'm just going to be going through the swing states. In Nevada, I'm going to add a tilt characterization. I'm going to put all the states at tilt. I think there is a legitimate chance that they could go into the lean and probably not likely, but possibly end up in the lean category. But they are inherently swing states, so I'm going to be going with the tilt prediction for each of them. So we'll start out in Arizona. Arizona is a bit of an interesting state. They have two Democratic senators and one Republican governor. The state went for Trump in 2024, which was a very impressive feat. It was a good election year for Republicans, for sure. And the state, even in 2016, Trump lost it then. Trump lost it again in 2020. And as of today, if I were to call it, I think AOC would probably be able to win it again, win it as a Democrat, back to the Democratic Party in 2028, if these two people were to be the candidates. Of course, she's going against J.D. Vance now, who I think it'll be interesting to see what J.D. Vance can bring to the table. It's been so long since anybody other than Trump has been the head of the Republican Party, so it'll be interesting to see if he is able to draw on the same kind of populist appeal that really was so crucial to Trump getting elected both in 2016 and in 2024. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Be interesting if these two people are the candidates. May not be, but fun prediction. But as far as the state of Arizona goes, I'm going to put that in the tilt Republican column. This state went to Trump by a fairly big margin in 2024, and I think it would take a lot for it to narrow up. And I think Democrats can narrow it up with a good candidate. I think if it were a candidate like Bashir or possibly even Newsom, that a more moderate candidate, that they would have a better shot in Arizona. But I don't think with AOC, definitely she's got with the democratic socialism appeal and kind of beliefs that would alienate quite a few key voting groups in the state of Arizona especially, but really throughout the U.S. So that's going to be 11 more electoral college votes for J.D. Vance. We get to the bottom half of the Sun Belt now, the eastern half. As far as the state of Georgia goes, I'm going to put the state of Georgia into J.D. Vance's column, 16 more votes for J.D. Vance. I forgot to do the district here in Omaha, the Nebraska district. I'm going to put that into the tilt blue rating, so that gives us 232 to 246. And then North Carolina, I might be willing to put that in the lean category, but I do tilt for all of them. I'm going to put North Carolina into the tilt category. North Carolina hasn't gone blue on the presidential level for a while. There is going to be an interesting Senate election here in both in Georgia and North Carolina, where Democrats are at the moment looking good and might be able to flip a seat in North Carolina, and are looking like they will probably be able to hold on to John Ossoff's seat in Georgia. So that is going to be 262 to 232. So AOC does stand a chance. If AOC were to win these three Rust Belt states, she would actually, and she could also afford to lose Nevada, but that would bring her to 276. At the moment, I think the state most likely to end up in the Democratic Party's column, especially with AOC as the nominee, would probably be Wisconsin. I've fairly consistently put it in AOC's column. The state was very close to going to Harris in 2024, and has repeatedly been a really close state. I think that there would be some appeal to some key voting groups in Wisconsin that AOC would be able to kind of win with and be able to win the state of Wisconsin. Pennsylvania, I think, is probably Republicans' best chance at winning Rust Belt states. I'm going to put the state of Pennsylvania into J.D. Vance's column. And with that, that brings us to 281 to 242, with J.D. Vance winning virtually every swing state. And I think the news would probably get even better for J.D. Vance. I've gone back and forth on Michigan, but now I'm going to put it into J.D. Vance's column. So that brings us to 242 for the Democrat, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, to 296 for the Republican, the current Vice President of the U.S., J.D. Vance. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.